Today we're going to cover how to go from research to identifying the contacts you want to reach out to within your account, to crafting hyper-personalized and effective messaging within ChatAE, all within 5 minutes of work. So let's go through it. As you can see here, we have our account, Bank of America. In this demo, I am acting as one of our sellers from Snowflake. And so the things that I've done research on here are all things related to top initiatives, strategic priorities, and other relevant pieces of information and research that I, as a seller from Snowflake, would care about. So as you can see, we're pulling information about recent news, financial reports, financial performance, strategic priorities across the business, strategic priorities in areas that we care most about. So AI and data in this example, as a seller from Snowflake would care about. Even pulling things from leadership directly, so quotes about AI, quotes about other strategic priorities, deep diving into specific financial reports, being able to pull quotes and statements on relevant topics from podcasts and other media appearances, monitoring things like when leadership changes take place that are relevant to us, and then deep diving into sources that are traditionally very hard to get at with the LLMs or ChatGPT. So an example here being monitoring LinkedIn for what relevant leaders at Bank of America are talking about on key topics that we care most about. And lastly, but not least, also looking at other sources of information that has a wealth of information about projects that they are undertaking, like job data and job posting information, and pulling information out of those. So we have a bunch of information here, as you can see. I can, as a seller, spend time going through this. And for your top accounts, you probably want to. You probably want to dig into what is being said on LinkedIn or what the executives have said about their strategy and priorities around certain key initiatives. And so it's worth digging through some of those things, and particularly the most important ones are worth digging through and spending time for your top accounts and clicking through to the sources and really understanding what is being presented there. However, in most cases, what we're actually going to recommend doing is using the ChatAE Copilot chat here to just ask a question of the research so that ChatAE can prioritize it for you. So I'm going to ask, which of these trigger results is most relevant to how we can help? Because ChatAE knows I work at Snowflake and knows generally what Snowflake helps with, and I can feed more additional context to ChatAE for it to know what we want to focus on, who we want to focus on, I can ask it really quickly, hey, which of these things are most relevant? And now ChatAE is prioritizing those things from all of the research results that I should focus on and where I should pay attention and how that relates back to how we can help. And now I'm going to ask ChatAE to expand on this a little bit further so I can get even greater understanding on what it found. And so, unsurprisingly, it's highlighting information it found about Bank of America's data strategy. It's highlighting information about Bank of America's AI strategy, and tying that back to how I, as a seller from Snowflake, can help. And now, this is all well and good, but we want to take this research and make it actionable. And so the next thing I'm going to do here is ask ChatAE to find me relevant leadership contacts. And what this is going to do is going to kick off the ChatAE contact finder tool to actually go pick out the relevant titles and contacts that we should be going after. So as you can see, it's pulling out relevant leadership titles like Chief Data Officer, Analytics, CTO, Head of Data, Head of Analytics, Head of AI, Head of ML, all of the types of contacts you would expect a Snowflake seller to be reaching out to, head of data engineering, etc. And so I'm going to run this. ChatAE is going to go and fetch some of those contacts. I can obviously do more deep diving or more detailing on the titles I want to actually reach out to. But we have a decent amount of good contacts here, and as you can see, I can go through and grab their mobile phone numbers, their emails. I could click through into their LinkedIn profiles and get more specific information, even do additional research on them if I wanted to. But now that I have this information, I'm actually going to just ask ChatAE to write me emails to them. And now what ChatAE is going to do is it's going to take that information and the research it found, the contacts it found, and marry that information together to start giving me some hyper-personalized outreach for each of these contacts that I can then either tweak further or begin, optimizing further to ultimately lead with. And as you can see, it's going to put this information very neatly for me in a doc with each of the emails to each of the people, each of their email addresses as well. So I'm ready to go on each of these contacts. And if I want to, I can obviously update these, make changes further before ultimately sending them out. So for instance, maybe I don't like how it ended this call to action. I'm going to make that a little bit different and lead with just an open-ended question to try to start a conversation here. So you have the ability to make those edits. I could also ask ChatAE to focus on different pieces of the research or tweak any of the other pieces of the messaging that I would like. So as you can see, we just went from summarizing a wealth of relevant research on what is a large account with a lot of information, to ultimately finding relevant contacts to reach out to and crafting hyper-personalized messaging all very quickly in a matter of minutes. You can do the same thing within ChatAE for cold call scripts, LinkedIn DMs, or other account planning artifacts. But that's one really common flow that I wanted to show you within a few minutes here, and would love for you to give ChatAE a try and test it out on one of your accounts yourself.